We have discussed quite a few qualities and skills that you need to develop within yourself if you wish to become a photojournalist. An important quality is the quality to compose a photograph. Now, what is composing a photograph? Composition entails a certain kind of aesthetic quality, a certain kind of visual quality which arranges the elements in such a manner that looks interesting or engaging to the eye. There have been many suggestions given by different people on what is good composition. Now, you can study all of these and decide for yourself what works for you, because ultimately there is no absolute truth that a good composition looks in this way and not another way. So, explore composition, explore visual thinking, explore space and negative space, that what is there in the frame, what is there in the foreground, what is there in the midground, what is there in the background, how you want to see elements interacting with each other in your frame. Later on in the course, we will be talking about composition, and I encourage all of you to read about composition, reflect on it, and start composing thoughtfully and creatively. Also, look at compositions, photographs of other photographers, especially master photographers and eminent photographers, so you can learn from their work and then slowly develop your own style, your own identity, your own voice as a photojournalist. The qualities and skills we have discussed are important, but what is also important is mastery of the craft. Knowing your tool which is going to help you get the photograph. Therefore, we must know about the camera that we are using. We must know about the technology that makes it possible for us to shoot and edit photographs. And we should be able to harness and use the various tools that are available to us so that we can do photography that is effective and communicative. In the coming lessons, you are going to explore and learn about the various technical aspects of photography, which is really important because once you understand how a camera functions, how an exposure is made, what are the various factors that impact the quality of your photograph, including the presence of the quality of light, then you can take better pictures. So, continue and learn, and slowly with practice master the art and craft of photography. Unless we have that, all our good ideas and intentions will never see the light of the day. Along with being keen observers of what we see in front of our eyes, we also need to be keen and alert thinkers, and we need to have presence of mind and think on our feet. We should be able to analyze whatever we see around us and make decisions which lead to good photographs. This capacity to analyze and discern the situation in front of us and then select what is it that we are going to focus on, how are we going to compose the photograph, what kind of photograph are we going to bring back from that event or situation, needs active thinking and concentration. So, concentrate, be mindful, be aware and self-aware, and at the same time remember to have compassion and empathy. These qualities together lead to photographs that make a difference. At this point, I have a reflection spot for you. On your screen, you are going to see several options. I suggest that you pause the video and try and identify the correct answer. When you are done, resume the video. remember that photojournalism is not an easy profession. If you choose to become a photojournalist, you must be ready to face all the challenges that will come your way. And you can face something which may be harsh or unexpected and difficult only if you really want to, which means that you need to have passion. Without passion, nothing can be achieved, and especially in the field of photojournalism, it is your passion that will drive you and keep going out to the field to get those photographs that give you the sense of satisfaction that yes, I have done my work, I've done it creatively and I've done it sincerely. So discover your passion, and if you don't have passion for photography and photojournalism, then this is not for you. Prashant Pandya speaks very strongly on this, and let's hear him, what he has to say.
Young people who want to do take photography as a profession, and I have one very, very serious piece of advice to give on this. Please do not take up photography unless you're passionate about it, because it's a very, very tough profession, and the chances of failure are very high. And if you're not passionate about it, you're not going to be able to last out or be completely frustrated. If you ask people, the most successful photographers, you find that they have had to struggle for years. I mean, doing photography is like trying to go to Bombay and becoming a hero in a Bollywood film. It's as bad as that. You will face a lot of trouble and a lot of grief, and only a few people survive. So do not take it up until you're passionate about it. But if you're passionate about it, be ready for a roller coaster ride and a beautiful ride. Teach yourself. Even if you were going to a photography course or a photojournalism course, it is very important to teach yourself at the same time, because the course will offer you a lot of things, but in the end, it's only how much you are willing to imbibe is going to make a difference to you.
While on the subject of journalism, it's important to stress that our photographs get all the information that we can and share it with the world. You know about the 5 W's and 1 H. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. As journalists, we look for all of these facts when we get out and step out to cover a story. Similarly, as a photojournalist too, we must try and give this information through our photographs. But remember, a photograph is not only about giving information. Along with information, a very important component is emotion. What is the emotion that the photograph is giving? What can people see in the non-verbal communication of the photograph? Pay attention to that and get pictures, compose pictures in a manner that not only give the information but also the emotion. Doing all of this needs proper research. Unless we have researched on the topic or the subject that we are going to cover, we are not going to be prepared. We don't know what we are going to do, and if we don't know what we are going to do, how are we going to do it well? So, read up, find out, explore, inform yourself so that you can do justice when you reach on the spot to cover a story. At this point, I have a reflection spot for you. On your screen, you're going to see several options. I suggest that you pause the video and try and identify the correct answer. When you're done, resume the video. Dinesh Krishnan, photo editor of The Hindu, gives us one example where you can see the importance of research. Let's listen to him.
What is it that makes you a photojournalist? How is it that a photojournalist differs from any other photographer? Because every other photographer is equally qualified, in terms of his technical skills or her technical skills or all of that. I mean, it's not that an advertising photographer or a travel photographer or an industrial photographer or whatever else. Take any kind of genres that you have in photography, that any of them are any less technically qualified or any other. No, it's not that. What makes you different? And it's this. You're telling a story. You're telling a story through images. Yeah. So you say that's what a photojournalist is about. So what's new about this? Now the thing is, look at yourself. How much time do you spend reading newspapers? 2.5 minutes? I don't think so. I don't think even you read newspaper 2.5 minutes. Maybe 2 minutes, 3, maybe because it's lying around in your parents' home. Maybe you see it on your phone, in all probability, at best. Maybe you spend about 5 minutes consuming news. But I'll tell you what will arrest you. I mean, what will arrest your attention? If you subscribe to some kind of a Google News, something, if you're getting in, you subscribe to a bunch of news to come into your phone, in all probability you're consuming all your news in your phone. I don't think you're really doing hard stuff like papers. I'm talking about the majority of the audience is now going to be doing this. And sometimes you would remember, you see a picture which is arresting your attention, and if it is a dramatic picture, you will actually check out the article there. It's going to stop you. If it's going to be a headline which is like an average headline, you may not even read it. But if it is a subject which is of your interest, you may read it because you like about something, you may read it. Now the point I'm making is, you may actually go through something and suddenly see a great dramatic picture of a subject which you don't even have any idea of. But if the picture is interesting and the headline that's going with it is nice, you will actually there's a good chance that you're going to read that article. And you spend time there. Now why did that happen? That happened because of your picture. Imagine you're the photographer there. What makes you get that picture? Now that is again knowledge.
Anticipation is a very important quality in photojournalism. When we step out and we are going to cover a situation or an event, we have to be ready. We have to be ready, and to be ready, we have to observe. To observe, we have to be alert, and we have to have concentration. And with that concentration, when we are paying attention, then we can sense. We can instinctively know that something is going to happen, and we are all ready, so that when the moment happens, in advance, we are geared up and we get the moment. This is something which theoretically may not make much sense, but as you start exploring photography and you start taking photographs with your digital cameras and your mobile cameras, you will understand what is it to anticipate and to have an instinctive feeling of when to click and take a photograph. In the lessons that are going to follow in this course, you're going to hear several photographers and photojournalists remind you again and again of this beautiful quality of anticipation, which is so necessary to the toolkit of a photojournalist. Be it sports, be it art, culture, or any other event, the quality to anticipate is going to lead to some absolutely beautiful work.
You see, earlier, with the earlier cameras, one had to look for the light, look for your frame, and click at the right moment. And that's for performing art. Even for other subjects, you have to look for the subject, you have to compose your frame, you have to see light and shade, and click to capture what you want to say with it and not work on it afterwards. In digital, one has to be even particularly difficult because unless you have a high-end camera, the moment will not be captured. You may miss it. There's a 1 second delay or less delay between the time you press the button and the recording happens. So this awareness will make you a better photographer as to are you getting what you want or not getting what you want. It's not merely multiple images that you click with a digital camera and think one of them will work out. It may not. So this awareness that what is that moment you want to capture, and if you do it well, you're lucky.
And finally, mastering all the techniques, technology, all those are important. But finally, I'll come back to something very basic, In photography, we always talk about going and taking photographs. You take a photograph. Now that's common parlance, common term that you use, taking photographs. But pause and think about what it means to take a photograph. Because taking is the act of taking something. It's an exploitative act. It is an act that sometimes is not based on an equalness of the position of you and the society itself, or what you're photographing. A lot of photographers, there's a lot of writing about this and a lot of ethical consideration about whether one should call it, say, taking photographs, shooting photographs is okay, or making photographs. And I would say maybe one should not get into the semantics of it, but think about how you make photographs. Are you taking away or are you giving something? So you may not change your language. It may be a good idea to also change your language, but even if you don't, think about what you're doing, how you're doing it. So great photographs and great photographers give to society. They don't take from them. They actually give back to society. And that, I think, is my most important tip that I can give to a young photographer starting out.
To conclude on this subject of developing qualities and skills to be a photojournalist, please remember that to become storytellers, we constantly have to reinvent ourselves. We have to be open to all the possibilities that surround us. Be attentive, observe, listen, watch, and then mobilizing all these qualities and skills that are inside us, take the photographs that we want to and that we must. The work that we do as photojournalists can have a tremendous impact on somebody's life. We must remember at all times that no matter what are the qualities and skills inside us, they must be put to service for the greater good. As photojournalists, we have a lot to contribute, as we have learned in the first lesson, and through these qualities and skills, that contribution can be made possible. So step out and start taking photographs. Look around yourself. You will find a photograph possible in your street, at your home, with your family. You don't really have to go very far.